5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9.
If you were alive in May, especially on May 30th, 2020, you might have heard on the news Demo 2, liftoff of American astronauts on American rockets from American soil for the first time in almost a decade since the end of an era of the space shuttle. What exactly was the significance of this event? Why should people care? And is this a symbol for maybe a potential for us to become a spacefaring species? Well, we're going to be talking about that today. So let's get started.
NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley, Doug on the left, Bob on the right, waving to the crowd there cheering them on.
Go SpaceX! Godspeed, Bob and Doug!
On May 30th, 2020, two astronauts, Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken, lifted off atop a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket in a privately developed space capsule called the Crew Dragon spacecraft. This was the culmination of almost 8 years of work and the successor of the Cargo Dragon program. Over 21 flights to the International Space Station led up to this moment when American astronauts lifted off on a rocket to space. The SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft doesn't just represent America. It represents the beginning of an era of commercial spaceflight, an era in which people like you might be able to buy a ticket to fly to space, maybe even to the moon, and come back. It marks the possibility for a future where your kids might be able to go on a field trip to the moon, to see the Apollo landing sites, to see the American flag that's now knocked over in the moon dust. Demo 2 is the culmination of so much. It's not only the culmination of the work of hundreds of thousands of people throughout NASA and SpaceX, it is the culmination of perseverance in a dark time. It is a symbol that even in the worst of times, humanity can still come together and do great things. It shows that we can still persevere, that we can still go on, that we can adapt, that there is hope. One of the things I've seen on social media is that people don't like the slogan, Launch America. To be honest, Demo 2 doesn't symbolize just America returning to space. It symbolizes the possibility for international collaboration. It is important to understand that the International Space Station was developed by multiple countries. So many nations came together to build this large space station, which is currently the most expensive thing humanity has ever built. And it is one of the largest things we've ever assembled in space. If you were born within 2000, you have not lived in an era where there has not been a human aboard the International Space Station. For your entire life, there was someone orbiting above your head at 17,500 miles per hour in the world's most expensive laboratory. The Crew Dragon spacecraft is a beginning. It's the beginning of cheap spaceflight. Not only is the Crew Dragon spacecraft reusable, but also is the launch vehicle that sends it to space, which is the Falcon 9. A rocket that is reusable means that the cost of launch is going to be much lower. And in the future, we will have fully reusable rockets, and so the cost of launch will only be the cost of fuel. So the more people you have on a rocket, the cheaper the ticket. So as SpaceX's Crew Dragon spacecraft is currently sending NASA astronauts, it might, in the future, be sending tourists. Filmmakers like Tom Cruise have already booked a flight on Crew Dragon to film the first movie in space. And so the future is exciting. Demo 2 isn't just about America, it's about the dream of all of humanity, to do what's never been done before, to go to new places, to explore, to persevere, and to endure. Demo 2 occurred in one of the worst times in modern history. It occurred in a time where people were scared. People didn't know what to do, where the threat of a pandemic killing and wiping us out was everywhere. But even in that panic, we were able to rise up. We were able to come to the challenge and say, we are ready. that we will send astronauts to space, and we will bring them back safely. Demo 2 was a symbol, and it was a historical moment. But it is just one of the many milestones to come as humanity embarks on its journey to become a multiplanetary species. Thank you for watching.